welcome to Healthy Cooking with your friendly Italians. I'm Jim Burrow.
And I'm Marilyn Burrow.
And we today, come in, get in closer. We're going to give you recipes you can't refuse. You understand me? You can't refuse. What it amounts to is some friends of ours, Gabe and Bev Lombardo, gave us a mafia cookbook.
Yeah.
And so, by a guy by the name of Joe Dogs Iannuzzi, who was a mobster.
Here's the cookbook. I'm going to try to show this to you. But this is the cookbook. He has a picture on the front. And Jim has read this cover to cover. Let me tell you.
It's right up my alley. What can I tell you? But, you know, mafia cooking is old-time cooking. It's an Italian-American cooking.
Right.
Yes.
It's whatever they were accustomed to, their family cooking. They brought it over to the United States, and then they had to transpose it as to what was available in their area. So that's why it's called Italian-American cooking.
Now, mind you, this is not healthy cooking.
By any means of the imagination.
They use a lot of butter and cream and pastas, but we're going to do it. And it reminds me of, we went over the SMS, I went over the SMS for a bachelor party for Adam Simolo, and a very talented chef by the name of Frank Turo did the cooking. And we had gizzards, and we had pasta. I think it was ziti or something.
Probably ziti.
And roast chicken and meatballs and sausage and
all those
this
things.
was
also,
a good food.
You know, a lot of it came from our childhood too.
And all the guys there ate it very well. So.
But Jim's been experimenting with this cooking, and I'm not too sure. I think I put on 4 pounds last week with all of this. Or 5 pounds. So now I have to figure out how I can really do healthy cooking in the next week. So
can't resist it. What am I going to tell you? So we're gonna have some recipes: Marsala, Mussels, Cacciatore, Scampi, Marinara.
All those good things.
All those good things. And the mob, they really love to eat.
They did.
They eat like it's their last meal, and sometimes it is.
Probably was, yes.
And they eat a lot of pasta, and they like veal. So our first recipe we have is for instead of a veal marsala, we're doing a chicken marsala. Yeah. And the reason behind it is to get good veal around here is very difficult.
Well, it's almost impossible.
And it's very expensive. So
and
we
extremely
changed it.
expensive. And, you know, a lot of people are concerned now about the way they keep the calves and how they're slaughtered. So you have some people that aren't too excited about veal.
Right. So we're going to show you a little demo on this chicken marsala. And fortunately enough, I didn't burn up the kitchen. So we're going to roll that. And I enjoy doing this.
Well,
and
it was very good.
Jim enjoyed eating it.
Yeah, Jim Sinacropi got a chance to eat it.
So what I've got a chicken breast, and I'm cutting it with a very thin knife on a horizontal all the way through. And a thin knife works a hell of a lot better. And we're just going to open that up, and I've got a piece of plastic wrap there, and we're going to lay that onto that plastic wrap, if I can ever get this damn thing open. There we go. Now we'll put another piece of plastic wrap over the top, and what we're going to do is we're going to pound this so it's uniform and fairly thin. We're not going to cook this very long. It doesn't need to. We want it nice and tender, and we're going to sort of finish it off in the sauce that we're going to cook. And I've got a little pounder. This works out extremely well. By using the plastic, it's much easier than just doing it without a piece of plastic. And
plus, he can get all his aggression out by pounding the meat.
I can take all my aggression out, right? And I'm not going to be dirtying things up as I normally do, as much as I normally do, because I've got the plastic there. So now I need to season it with a little salt, and I'm using kosher salt, which I I like Maryland likes sea salt, but either one of them are great.
Well, they're
And,
saying that, there's all kinds of sea salt. That's the other thing. All kinds of olive oil and all kinds of sea salt seems to be the new thing to really bring flavors in. But you can use any olive oil you want and anything but iodized salt. I would use either sea salt or iodized.
I've got semolina, which is a durum wheat flour, and I'm dusting the breast with that. I love semolina more so than I do just regular flour. It has more oomph to it. And over here in my pan, I have got some butter and some olive oil that I've got heating up at a fairly low temperature. So I'm going to do the other side, and you want to when you pick them up after you put the dusting on there, just any excess of the
just shake it off. Yes.
Yeah.
Just shake it a little bit before you put it in the pan, right?
Put it right in the pan, and this is only going to cook for about 2 minutes, and then we're going to do it a minute per side. Okay. Now that see how easy it is, get rid of that, clean it up, and for once Jim Barrow has not made a mess. And we're going to saute that in that butter, and there's a lot of butter in there, people. But this is what makes it. And I've beforehand I had made some sautéed mushrooms that I sautéed in some sweet vermouth, and I cooked that for about 18 minutes. And I'm going to add there's the mushrooms, and they're on the sweet side with the sweet vermouth. I cooked them for about 20 minutes. That's a pound of mushrooms that I've put in there, and we're going to get those warmed up, and that's not going to take very long. As you see, the chicken didn't take long at all. So now I am adding some Marsala wine to this, and then I've got some Grand Marnier. And Grand Marnier is nothing more than triple sec and brandy put together. If you don't want to go out and buy Grand Marnier, just mix
it's the orange flavor that you want
That's
to throw
what we're
out of
looking
it.
for.
So if triple sec has orange flavor in it, so.
This is about a quarter of a cup that I put, just by eye. It gives it a wonderful, wonderful flavor to it. And we're going to let that, now I'm going to ignite this, but I make sure if you ever do this, take it off of the burner or it's going to blow right up in your face. There we go. Just took it off. Now I can put it back on.
And that sort of burns off the alcohol so that you don't get that strong alcohol flavor. You just get the essence of the wines.
And the sauce that comes out of this is really good. Once we get the fire down, then I'm going to just put those breasts back in there and warm them up. There's another way you can do these breasts by taking them and pounding them out like I did, and then putting some ricotta, spinach, prosciutto in it, rolling it up, topping it with the semolina, and saute them, and then use the same sauce, which is a fancier way of what we do. You can also use sweet vermouth. You can use, instead of the sweet vermouth, you could use sweet sherry into this to cook it. So now I've got some lemon, and I'm squeezing that into my hand. The reason I'm squeezing it in my hand, I don't want to have those seeds go on in, so I'm going to squeeze a whole lemon, just get the juice out of there, and that gives it a yin and yang type of flavor to it. And I
always think that lemon really freshens things up. I love the flavor of lemon in most dishes of this nature.
And the chicken is now done. Just put it over the top. I'm going to finish this off with some scallions that I slice up and pour that over the top, sprinkle them over the top. A nice complement to this dish is gnocchis. You don't have to put it in any tomato sauce. Just cook off some gnocchis and put it around the outside of it, so you have the flavor of this wonderful chicken and mushrooms and gnocchi.
That particular sauce.
And
is very, very
I
good.
think this whole dish is less than 5,000 calories.
Maybe. It's probably less than that.
So there, we had it for dinner that night. It was very, very good. Very, very good. So there we go. That's our first dish, a chicken marsala. Now, one thing I have to finish with is our trademark. I'm off to get some wine so that I can have some wine to have at the end of the meal. Look, okay there. Ciao. Yay! Thank you, Jim. You did a nice job. And you didn't burn the place up.
Nope.
So, there it is. Nice dish.
That's one dish.
Now, while we're finished, this guy's name, Joe Dogs, is this guy. He's
That's his nickname. There was something that was so typical of the mafia, or even Italian people. I remember some names from my childhood that my father's friends or people that worked for my father, like Brooklyn Joe, whatever. You know, those names were
Tony Kimpi.
Well, that was his real name. Tony
that was
Kimpi
his real name. Right.
Not,
Good. He wasn't a mafia guy. Right?
No.
But Joe Dogs was from the Gambino family. He lived in Brooklyn, actually over in the Red Hook area. He had a place in Miami, and he also was associated with the Columbo family. And he was a mobster. He used to go out and steal and do all things, but he also used to cook.
And somehow these men were always good cooks. I don't understand. Some of them were even cooking in prisons.
Right.
I mean, and they all loved good food.
But some of the names that these guys use, you know, Johnny Irish, Louis S., Skinny Bobby,
Right.
Little Dom, who was the hitman for the Columbo group,
Right.
Rabbit Fusco, and Tony Black. I mean, these were the names of these people. This Tony Black went out and robbed Aqueduct, and his share, the racetrack,
right?
His share was $800,000, which he blew in 2 months. So he
Probably gambled it away.
Well, many other things.
And many other things.
So he came and he hid at Joe Dogs. And he was hungry. He was very hungry, as they always are. And he liked shrimp scampi, Gambino style.
Well, there you go. So now that's your next recipe, right?
Next recipe is shrimp scampi Gambino style. You're going to take 2 pounds of raw shrimp. The count on those they're the big ones, 16 to 20. And you're going to clean them, devein them, and butterfly them. By butterfly them, you just cut in the middle so they open them up. Mm-hmm. You place them on a flat oven-proof pan, and then you mix and spoon over a mixture of 2 sticks of butter, 3 shallots, 4 minced garlic cloves, some lemon juice, some parsley, and breadcrumbs. I like to use panko, which is a Japanese product or a
They
Chinese.
didn't have panko wasn't known in the
There wasn't
days of
back
these
then,
recipes, but they always made breadcrumbs out of their stale bread. You know,
And-
they would make their own breadcrumbs.
And put an egg yolk in it and some Tabasco sauce and season the shrimp with some salt and pepper. Pour this over the top, put it in the oven, and just broil it. It's going to take 4 or 5 minutes just to golden the one side of it. That's it. Don't try to cook it on both sides because it'll get tough.
Too tough. Yeah.
And you've got a great dish. Gambino Style Scampi. I'm on a roll, Marilyn.
Well, you are. Again, with these recipes, even though they've come somewhat from the cookbook, you make them your own. You modernize them, you do whatever, and put some things in that you like.
Now, Marilyn, I want to talk about Little Dom, the hitman from the Columbo.
All right, we'll have to learn something about him, right?
Little Dom had his own Boot Hill where he used to bury all the people he killed. And it was 20 miles north of New York.
On the Taconic, wasn't
it? On the Taconic, right.
Mm-hmm.
So he calls up Joe Dogs to go up with them to dig the hole to bury this guy, and they did. They covered him back up, and they left. They went back into New York, and Little Dom says, "We got to go back." What do you mean we got to go back? He says, "I forgot to take his ring off. I forgot to get his money. I forgot to get his watch. We got to go back, and we got to dig him up, get this, and
get all the stuff.
Right.
We're
going to leave that stuff." So that's what they did. So now, after they finished doing it the second time, Little Dom says, boy, I'm hungry. And Joe Dogs was hungry. So they had to come up with a
quick way of having, they probably wanted pasta, right?
Wanted pasta.
Right.
And they wanted a quick marinara instead of having something that cooks for a long time.
So they came up with a marinara sauce.
This is a marinara sauce, Columbo style. Okay?
All right.
And this is a little unique. It's not the normal marinara sauce. You're going to saute about a quarter of a cup of extra virgin olive oil, 2 minced garlic cloves, and you're going to do this over low heat because you do not want that garlic to burn. Okay?
Right.
Now add 1 28-ounce can of Roma tomatoes that you squeeze. Now, what I mean by squeeze them, put them in a bowl and put them away from you and just squeeze them so it doesn't
squirt. So mash, it doesn't have all, it just makes it a little bit softer, the tomatoes.
Right. Or you can get, another product that is really good is Palmy, or you can use San Marzano tomatoes, or you can use diced tomatoes. But the best is the whole tomatoes, right? Then you're going to add to that a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And here's a ringer: 1/4 teaspoon of dried mustard.
Yeah, that I never heard of before.
I never heard of that before. Some black pepper, 2 tablespoons of dried basil that he's crushed up, 1 cup of stock. So it's going to be
It's
loose
a chicken
type
stock.
It's a chicken stock.
You could use vegetable stock
You
too.
could. These people would never use vegetable stock.
But it's available today,
I
so
know.
you can make it your own.
Yeah, you can make it your own. And you simmer that for about 30 minutes, and pour it over pasta, and you got.
Now, Jim did make this, and I'll say it was good, but I have to say truthfully that my marinara sauce is better. So.
Well, what she's not telling you, we had some left over. She's eaten it for 2 days in a row.
I told you I gained 5 pounds. What do you want? That's why I gained 5 pounds, but I still like my marinara sauce better. So.
Now I got to tell you a story about Johnny Irish. Johnny Irish had a bar, and on the counter of the bar, he had a big jar filled with formaldehyde and a finger in there, and he had a little sign underneath it. You steal from me, your finger is next.
So no monkeying around with the mobsters, that's for sure.
But these people are tough people. But in my business, I dealt with them a lot, and I found them people that I really enjoyed being with. I liked them. Their word was golden. If you were having problems, you needed something, they would do it. Now, mind you, they would give you a favor. You owe them. And
then you would owe them a favor, of course.
But they were good people. I enjoyed being with them, and I know that these people went out and killed and they did all kinds of things, but I still liked them. What do you want?
But most stories will tell you that their word, they did honor their word. That's for sure.
So Johnny Irish loved. He was from Northern Italy. Now, mind you, when I say Northern Italy, he was just above Naples as far as the mafia is concerned. That's Northern. And he liked a chicken cacciatore, Northern style, which meant there was no tomatoes in it. And actually, I like it this way better than the regular chicken cacciatore that you usually fix. And what you're going to do, you're going to take a fry pan, and you're going to heat up two tablespoons of oil, and then you're going to take about a 3-pound chicken and cut it into pieces, and salt and pepper both sides, and brown it about 10 minutes past that. You want it nice and golden. You want You want that golden crust
Well, you want
to the
those,
meat.
yes, in the bottom of the pan so you can deglaze it to get the good flavor.
And then add onion big pieces, a 1/4-inch onion pieces, and then add a pepper and do the same thing. 1/4-inch size of a pepper, can be red, can be green, can be polka dot. Doesn't make any difference. And put that in there, and then you want some garlic and some shallots. Then you're going to cook it for about 10 minutes. You're going to turn it over and cover it all. Add some white wine, some red wine vinegar, which is very important, some pepper, some dried basil, some dried oregano. Put the top on it and simmer it for about 30 minutes, and it's ready to go. You could serve that with polenta. You always got to, whether
You
you
got to
serve
have your crusty Italian bread.
you got to have the crusty Italian bread, so you can dunk it in the sauce. So there is another great mafia dish. Not a mafia; it's just a good.
Well,
good
what
dish.
this all reminds me by getting this mafia cookbook was that there are families that are now making their own cookbooks. Jenny DeJohn gave me this cookbook, and this woman is from Auburn. Her name is Catherine Loperfido Atterbury. And in this book, this woman has taken all of their family recipes. And I also know that a good friend of my Aunt Ella's, her family, this was Mary Leonardi's children, did the same thing. And I'm encouraging you, if you have these kinds of recipes, because basically this is what the Mafia Cookbook is what they remember cooking. And if you have those favors, in this day and age, it's very easy to make your own cookbook. And that's something you can send on to your children or have for your children.
It's almost a history.
It is. It is. And, you go through and you realize that some of these recipes are very similar to ones that you may have had. But you can do this. It doesn't even have to be just Italian cooking. The fact that you can pass on your family recipes to your family very easily.
And hopefully your family will appreciate this.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm encouraging you all to take that next step.
Right. Got one more recipe, Marilyn.
What?
It comes from Buzzy Faldo.
Buzzy Faldo.
Yeah.
Okay, now which one is? Oh, that's the mussels. Yes.
Yeah, Buzzy Faldo calls up Joe Dogs in the middle of the night, and he says, "I'm at the airport." He says, "I don't have any clothes." He says, "You come over, pick me up, but stop off. Get me a jacket size 38. I got my girlfriend with me. She needs a pair of slacks. You bring it over. She has waist 22." What that meant is for Joe Dogs to go out and buy 2 snub-nosed pistols, one a 38 and one a 22, okay? So they show up. He got there. They get it. They said, "Well, I got one stop to make, Joe Dogs. Go down here and we'll make this one stop." So we go up. He says, "Now, I won't be long. You stay out front. Keep the car running." So Joe Dog sits there, and all of a sudden you hear bang, 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 and Buzzy comes out, gets into the car. He says, "Go to the East River." Goes to the East River. He throws the guns in the East River, and he says, "That was a lot of stress. You know what stress does to me? I gotta eat. You gotta give me something to eat."
So in these books, if you make your own book, you can also add some family stories. Again, this is what the Mafia Cookbook is. Certainly, Mia Cucina, which is Jenny John's friend's book, tells things about where they got their food, what they did, and it brings a family tradition together. So I think, if you have the inclination, it would be a fun project.
All right. And the recipe for the mussels is in here, and mussels is a great product. They're inexpensive. They're on right now. There's a lot of them out there, and if you look at a bag of mussels, they usually come in 2-pound bags. You'll see a little sticker on it. It will tell you what date they were brought up, and they will last for about 2 weeks. Now, don't be scared if some of the mussels are open. If you take a mussel that is slightly open and tap it, it will close. If it doesn't close,
then you get rid of it.
Get rid of it
at that point.
And they're they're really good. In this case, you're doing a little wine sauce with some tomato and garlic and parsley, and it's you 2 pounds you can eat like nothing. So
mussels are a wonderful thing, and they can be made all different ways. And it doesn't have to be just the Italian way. There's an incredible amount. They're very versatile.
Yes, they are. So we got through having a mafia dinner, and they're some good food. Our next time, we are going to go over to Cafe 19 and talk to the owner and chef at her name is Casey Galloway. This is at Horizon Bank. It's just a new restaurant.
Let's try the right name. Generations Bank.
What did I say?
Horizon Bank.
Oh, okay.
So let's.
Whatever. Generations Bank. So enjoy. Now, let me tell you. Now, if you see our show, let us know what you think. You think it's good? You think it's bad? We're going to be able to do that for you. So enjoy, and we'll see you the next time. And watch out for these guys. You understand me? Ciao.
Ciao.